Jim, what's going on? Good afternoon to you, brother. How are you? What's up, everybody? Get a little last second stream in on the day. Thoughts on the Lexus LS 400? I mean, nice car, right? I would much rather have an S-Class, but I get why people like the LS. Jim, still at the dealership yourself? Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate that. Thoughts on the EQE 350? I'm a big fan of all of the EQs. Big fan. I know that EVs are very polarizing for a lot of people, but I love the way they drive. Dave, we can make you a nice deal on a Geely 53. Absolutely. Can't really discuss that specifically on stream, but if you reach out to the team, we'll get you a price on one in minutes. Make it really easy for you. What's the G-Wagon tax write-off thing? Blackout, what you're referring to is Section 179, which is a tax write-off for business owners that for vehicles that have a gross vehicle weight over 6,000 pounds. So the G-Wagon, really the GLE, GLS, G-Wagon, they all qualify for that write-off if the vehicle's being used for business purposes. Dave, presence is power, Doug. Yeah, it's not that. It's just just kind of a technical thing with Mercedes-Benz. So it's not, you don't have to be here, right? You can contact us through our website and we'll get you a price on that. What is the best AMG vehicle in an SUV? I love the GLE class personally. So GLE 63, whether that's coupe or regular, would be a pick of mine for sure. Brian's got an Infiniti QX80 lease that ends in January. I'll be 10,000 miles under on my lease miles. Can I do anything with it? Well, you might have a little equity there, depending on how the vehicle held its value relative to the residual. But because you went under on your miles, there's always the chance that could happen. What do you think about the GLB? Honest opinion. I think the GLB is a great entry to the brand. I know many people who have bought them and love them. They're fun. They're a great price point. They lease well. They are definitely not as luxurious as some of our other models. What's up, Emmett?
Question for you.
Yeah.
You have solution for it.
I'm live, so just keep that in mind.
Okay. So a guy wants to get the EQS,
The one that's been in an accident.
yes,
Yeah, I just
he's closing on a house and he doesn't know how we can.
the problem here is we don't have a definitive timeline on when it's going to be repaired.
Oh, that's already done.
Which are you talking about? The white on Neva Gray
Yeah.
EQS?
No, we're ready.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
Who told you that?
that looks like it, or somebody said it was done.
I would check with Matt. Matt got involved in that because the insurance company was being difficult, and I don't know if he made any headway on that. But the last I heard, the car was still down.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, I took it offline today because we're just getting like inundated with leads on it, and it's just not sellable yet.
Right, I agree. Sure. Yeah.
So, all right.
Thank you.
Dave, Lorena actually moved down to Mercedes-Benz of Miami, so she's down in Florida now. But so, I mean, you could still call her. But Chad just drove our new EQE to Atlanta for the weekend. Stopped at new charging hub of the corporate HQ. Amazing with the 2-year free charging. Yeah, that's awesome, Chad. Those new the Mercedes charging hubs look really cool. They're like super fancy high-end gas stations for EVs, but we don't have any here in Cleveland. Freddie, yes, we are hiring. In fact, next Saturday, the 23rd, we're having a job fair. So we're hiring for multiple positions: sales, internet sales. We're even looking for an internet sales manager, and we're also looking for porters, lot technicians, and delivery specialists. So we are in need. We need to grow our team across the board. So we've got a lot of really fantastic opportunities there for people that want to get into the car business. Right? If you don't have kind of some sales experience, or you're not ready for sales, I would not recommend starting there. A lot of people work their way up. We are a promote from within company. Okay, that is a big area of focus for us. So, but yeah, job fair on. If you go to my link in my bio, my link tree, you can get to the registration form for that. So obviously it's going to be here at the dealership next Saturday. Janet or Jarrett, I appreciate that. Great videos. I appreciate that very much. Chris, been watching a lot of the shorts recently as an F&I manager. I can appreciate your upfront way of doing business. Chris, thank you. I appreciate that. Jaeger, will Mercedes win the 2026 F1 championship? Hard to say, but I am excited to see what they do next year. William is a former salesperson in Florida. I've never seen snow. I worry about the test drives in the winter. Yes, William, if the weather is bad in the winter, we do not do test drives if it is not safe out, right? So luckily, we don't have too many days a year that are quite like that. But can we have Baby Gap make an appearance soon? Mike, who's Baby Gap? Would you say mirroring is effective in car sales? I think mirroring is effective in any interaction in life, right? People feel more comfortable when you kind of mirror their body language or their behavior or even the way they speak. Our DMS is Reynolds, is what we use here. Freddie, we are located in North Olmsted, Ohio, which is just west of downtown Cleveland. So we're in Cleveland, Ohio. Natalie, what advice do you have for somebody that may be scared about switching from a full-size SUV to an EV? Well, I think that you just need to be honest with yourself about what your driving habits really are, right? So if you are doing most of your driving just around town, short trips, and you don't ever really drive long distances, then you're probably going to be totally fine, right? Do a little research on what kind of charging stations are available in your area if you're not planning on getting an at-home charger. But it's an easier switch to make than a lot of people think. So I think a lot of people freak out about situations that they may rarely, if ever, encounter, which is like, oh, well, what if I need to like drive from here to New York, right? Well, how often are you doing that? And if you do that, I mean, it's still very doable because you can plan out your trip and hit all the charging stations. But the point is that it's a lot easier to make that switch than most people realize for most people. What vintage Mercedes is most likely to increase in their value in the next 5 years? Now, what do you define as vintage? I mean, anything with gull-wing doors, including the more recent SLSs of the 2010s, I think will continue to increase in value as we move along, right? I really do believe that. I think that we've got a lot of really anything historical, any black series of any kind, any black series. Justin just bought your 911 here at North Olmsted. I appreciate that. Thanks for doing business with us, Justin. Appreciate it. Cole, thank you for the hot peppers. I appreciate that as well. Why did Jared leave? He wanted to pursue social media full time. Is it better to lease through my business or on my own? Well, Taylor, that just comes down to what your accountant recommends. If you can write off the vehicle through your business, then great. I would go ahead and do that. But you will be, really, that is just for the purposes of titling and registering. It will really be through you. So if you're leasing through your business, you're still the personal guarantor. So it's only going off of your credit. So it really is like you're leasing the car either way. It's just a matter of whether or not your accountant thinks that would be a good write-off for you if you can use the vehicle for business purposes. What is a day in the life for you, Freddie? A day in the life for me is coming into work. I run the sales meeting every morning where we talk about various State of the Union type things. We talk about, we do sales training. And then from there, get my day started, review any upcoming deals that we have. Any pays is what we refer to them as. So that's a deal that we've consummated the deal. We've gotten the deal ready to go, but it hasn't fully been to completion yet. We get those loaded for the finance team and, review what my team is working on. How can I help them to, maybe get a deal over the finish line if somebody needs to hop on a call with me, or if we can do a little bit of one-on-one coaching. I mean, every day is a little different. My day is like 1,000 interruptions is how I describe it to people, which means that I don't necessarily, I have an overview of what I want to do, which is I want to get involved with every salesperson if I can. I want to respond to any leads that might have come into me. I want to make sure that all of our future inventory has been built properly. Thank you. Thank you. So do a little bit of check on merchandising, make sure all of our vehicles are online merchandised properly. I check our future incoming inventory to make sure we've got the right mix of cars and that they're configured the way that they need to be configured for the market. So every day is a little bit different. Justin, thank you or Rob, thank you for the rose. I appreciate that. Thank you for everyone being here tonight. I know it's a little bit late in the day, but I do appreciate you all hanging out. So, if you hit the like button, the thumbs up button, that helps me out a lot. And if you're not following already, would love and appreciate a follow. So thank you, everybody that is here. If you put $10,000 down on a lease, am I married to leasing that brand forever? You're not married to leasing the brand forever, but I wouldn't necessarily put down that much money on a lease because there is risk involved in doing that. Namely, if you were to get into a total loss situation, you are likely going to be out a lot of that money, okay? Because with leases, you're not buying down your equity position in the car. You are a little bit, but not much. Okay, you're really just lowering your monthly payment. Eric, thoughts on running a Mercedes through a car wash? You can totally do that, Eric. But of course, if brushless washes will probably keep your car a little bit safer if you have the ability to do that. Let's see. I thought this was Bill Nye the Science Guy. That's right. I never get tired of hearing that. MEC, thank you for doing this, Doug. You're very welcome. Can you help me get a Tesla? If my credit score is 550, possibly, David, we could possibly get you a used Tesla. Credit scores don't really tell the full picture. It really is more about your credit history. Okay, I did that already in 2022. Should I stick with that brand now? My lease is up in May. So Lexi, all depends on whether you want to stay with that brand or not. So a lot of brands will have nice loyalty programs. Once you get to the end of your lease, you might be able to get out a little bit early and have payments waived. You might be able to get some extra incentives as for being a loyal client from going from one lease to another. It really depends on what brand it is and whether or not you want to stay with them. But the beauty of leasing is that if you don't want to stay with the brand, then when you get to the end of the lease, you can turn it in, walk away, and you can go lease a new car. So Matthew, I have an iPhone. Orlando, I have a negative $16,000 on my lease. Can I trade it in for a Mercedes-Benz SUV? Of course you could. Absolutely. If the deal can be structured in a way that you're comfortable with and the bank would approve, then absolutely. Mark, first found you via TikTok. Cool to see you on LinkedIn too. Thanks for Inside Baseball and car purchasing. My pleasure, Mark. This is actually the first time that I have streamed on LinkedIn as well as the other platforms that I go on. So hopefully I can't really see how many people are watching this on LinkedIn, but hopefully at least a few. And if you're new here, or this is the first time that you've joined me on a live stream, the format of this really is I will kind of hop on towards the end of a day when I have a little extra time, and we'll answer questions, right? So come in here, you can ask me Mercedes-Benz related questions. You can ask me general automotive related questions. I can't get to all of them. There are very, very many of them from multiple different platforms that come in, but I do my best to try to grab them as I see them. So Doug wanted to say, I super enjoy your content. I think it sheds a great light on our industry. Colin, I appreciate you saying that. I really do. Matthew, when is the EV incentives over? So I don't know for sure when all EV incentives will be over, but very specifically, any manufacturer that has lease cash, right, that $7,500 tax credit that you can capture on a lease, September 30th, after that goes away. Okay, that's the new law that was signed. So you've got until the end of September to get that extra $7,500 benefit on a lease. Okay, there are certain used cars that might qualify for a $4,000 tax credit. That's the same thing, right? So up until September 30th, that's why there's really a rush right now on EVs and plug-in hybrids as well, because the incentive courtesy of the government is only good for about another month and a half before that goes away. Dean, Doug, you did a weekend video with the customer on the phone. He said if you get in an accident when you're releasing a car, you don't have to worry about it. What did he mean by that? So Dean, what he was referring to is some of my videos where I talk about if you buy a car, okay, whatever happens to that car down the road, you own that, whether you pay cash for it or financing. And by that, I mean depreciation on a car is uncertain. We do know cars will depreciate with the exception of a few rare, super hard to get cars, okay? But generally speaking, cars will depreciate. When you buy a car, you're opening yourself up to that uncertainty of what will happen with the depreciation. One of the things that really affects the value of a car, and the nicer the car, the more it affects it, is if you get into an accident, and then that shows up on your Carfax. Now, there's a reason for this. One, there's the effect, the mental effect that somebody has, where if they're going to consider buying your now used car down the road, they may or may not be comfortable with the fact that it had previously been in an accident. So that devalues it, okay? But It depends on how much it devalues it. 50% of people who shop for a pre-owned car will click on clean Carfax only or clean history report, which means that they will never see the car that you've had with an accident for sale. So it lowers its value. So when you lease, that's not your problem because the value of your car at the end of the lease has been predetermined on the day that you sign that lease. So you're protected there, right? This is assuming you get the car repaired, of course, right? But the bad Carfax now doesn't follow you. If the value of the car is still below your buyout number at the end of the lease, you turn it in, you walk away, you start over, you get a new car. Okay. So you go really, really high up the ladder with some super rare cars. I'll tell you what, a bad Carfax on a Ferrari, that could have a $50,000 negative impact on a car like that. Okay. So the point is that when you lease, that uncertainty of depreciation, the uncertainty of a possible accident or ding on the Carfax, it goes away because now the car at the end of the lease isn't yours. You can turn it in and you can walk away. So yeah, Dave, lease, most leases, with Mercedes-Benz, you get gap insurance included with the lease. A lot of other manufacturers do the same, but I can't speak for all of them. That's for sure. Let's see. Taylor, I'm currently driving an X7 M60i BMW. What compares very new to Mercedes? So you would want to be looking at like a GLS 580 or a GLS 63, Taylor. The X7 is the largest BMW SUV, and that would compare to our GLS, and it just depends on how much engine you need. Mike, if I drive 34,000 miles a year, is the least a good thing? Mike, I would argue that it is, right? Assuming that you want to drive a nice car and a newer car, right? If you've made your peace with driving an older car that you paid cash for, that you're just going to run into the ground and wait until the wheels fall off, then by all means, you can go that route. But if you want to drive a newer car, a nicer car, and you're driving that many miles a year, you're going to depreciate it very aggressively. So Matthew, my wife and I are working through this. Daughter getting licensed. We have looked at used cars and are amazed at the ridiculous prices of used market. 2016 or newer SUVs with less than 80,000 miles. Many are in the 30K range. There are some attractive lease prices right now. Matthew, I guess it depends on what you're looking at. I've had many videos that have taken a lot of flack because I don't think people are really paying attention to the message of the video. But things like Hondas and Toyotas are so inflated in their values as used cars that it's just not worth it to me. Now, let me be clear. Those are amazing cars. I'm not taking anything away from them. I understand why they hold their value. They are reliable. They're inexpensive to own long term. But the people that are buying them pre-owned they're just paying too much. They just are. For not much more, you can get a new car or you can lease a car. So let me be clear. I'm not taking anything away from those vehicles, but the market is not allowing them to depreciate to a point where I believe it makes sense to pay that kind of money for a 2016 with 80,000 miles. Let me see, do manual transmission sports cars like the M2 or the 718 hold their value better than the automatic versions? These days, yes. Because manual transmissions are now unavailable for the most part, pre-owned versions of them have seen a big bump in their value because they're very hard to come by, right? So the enthusiasts that like those cars are now really paying big dollars for those vehicles, big dollar bucks, if you will. And so the M2s, the 718s, anything that could be had with a manual transmission, we are seeing the pre-owned values of those cars really do big numbers for sure. Birdie Boy, Steve from Naples, used to be Westlake, just saying hello. Naples Acura. Thanks for saying hi, Steve. I appreciate that. Hope you're enjoying things down in Naples. AR, do you think BMW is capable of building a G-Wagon competitor when the XM failed like it did? AR, I mean, look, anybody's capable of anything, really. I just don't think that they're going to be able to come up with anything that will seriously challenge the G-Wagon. I think that the G-Wagon has too much heritage. It's too unique. It's too special. Anything that they did that was ultra similar would probably come off as just like a complete copy. Anything else probably will be so different that I don't know that you could really consider it a G-Wagon competitor. So remains to be seen. Who knows? All right. So I'm going to probably hop off here because I do need to get things wrapped up for the evening. This was a quick and short one tonight, and I do apologize for that. But I do appreciate all of you being here. Thank you for hitting the like button and the thumbs up button. If you're not following already, please hit the follow button or the subscribe button and make sure that you're then going to get the notifications the next time that I go live. And tomorrow I will work to get on at a more reasonable time so I can sit here and hang out a little bit longer. But thank you to everybody that came by this evening. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your Monday night, and I will talk to you all soon. All right.